behind these doors are not just prisoners. There are minds breaking silently every single day.
It's not to the point where you want to commit suicide. But sometimes I've been at the point that I be wanting to write the judge, say, just give me the death penalty. Just give me the death penalty, man.
Prison does not just confine the body, it restructures the mind.
Prisons are highly controlled environments where every detail of daily life, when to eat, when to sleep, is structured and supervised. Over time, this lack of autonomy can lead to feelings of helplessness and depression. Long-term prisoners often become so accustomed to prison structure that they struggle to manage with life outside of prison.
Incarceration takes away almost every coping skill that we have to improve our mental health.
For many, emotional distress becomes a daily condition.
Life in prison also sees high rates of mental health issues. Depression and anxiety are common, often driven by fear for one's safety or the general lack of control inmates have over their environment. In fact, the rates of self-harm and suicide in prison are significantly higher than in the general population.
Sometimes patients become so desperate that they hurt themselves to get sent to the hospital.
I was diagnosed with everything from like schizophrenia down to anxiety to depression to ADHD, bipolar. I was diagnosed with a lot of stuff. I went through, not wanting to live no more.
Inside prisons, treatment is limited, delayed, or denied.
So people who are incarcerated tend to have higher rates of mental disorders and substance use disorders, much higher rates than the general population.
And when we talk about mental health, they wouldn't even afford you a psychiatrist.
I was hallucinating while I was in a jail cell. The worst thing they could have done to me is keep me away from medicine. It made me worse off than I was before.
Neglect often worsens the illness it claims to manage. Solitary confinement is where psychological harm intensifies.
Imagine being locked in a small windowless cell for 23 hours a day. No human contact, no conversation, just you, 4 cold walls, and the sound of your own thoughts closing in on you. That's solitary confinement.
It is psychological torture. Oftentimes, you're just having your face plastered on this door and hoping someone will walk by that you can talk to. I just remember being lonely and feeling helpless.
It's like being buried alive.
This place is like an insane asylum.
Thoughts of suicide come a lot.
Solitary confinement.
You can't get yourself wound up because you can't leave that room.
Some prisoners believe the death penalty is actually preferable to a life of solitary confinement.
Extended isolation disrupts perception, memory, and emotional regulation.
Extended isolation deprives prisoners of crucial sensory input and social interaction, both essential for maintaining cognitive and emotional stability. This sensory and social deprivation causes the brain to seek stimulation, which can lead to distorted perceptions of reality.
Studies have found that the longer a person spends in isolation, the greater the likelihood of PTSD symptoms appearing or intensifying.
Leif Browder, who spent 3 years on Rikers Island without trial, 2 of those in solitary confinement. During his time in isolation, Browder attempted to take his own life multiple times. Upon release, he exhibited severe signs of paranoia, frequently expressing fears that he was being watched and followed. His condition worsened. He once threw away a television because he believed it was spying on him. Despite psychiatric treatment, Browder continued to struggle with delusions and hypervigilance. In June 2015, he took his own life. A stark example of the effects of prolonged isolation is Albert Woodfox, who spent nearly 44 years in solitary confinement. Confined to a 6-by-9-foot concrete cell, Woodfox described waking each day wondering whether he could endure another without losing his mind. Like many others around him, he witnessed prisoners break down, reduced to endless screaming.
If you could put every emotion of the human spirit of hopelessness, pain, agony, hatred, frustration, a sense of continuous silently screaming, all these emotions while you're locked in this cage treated like some animal. Most people wouldn't even treat an animal like that. An animal who was suffering pain, they would take him to the vet and do something for him.
By the time these inmates are released back into the world, they're not the same people who walked in. Many are left shattered, haunted by severe psychological damage they'll never recover from.
Prison sentences are measured in years. The psychological consequences are not. Many leave prisons physically free, but mentally imprisoned. Mental illness is not created in prison, but prison can make it permanent. Behind these doors are not just prisoners, there are human beings.